Konnichiwa, everyone! Today, I am excited to introduce to you the wonderful world of Japanese arts. Japan is an ancient culture that is remarkably unique. This is often explained by its isolation as an island country with a large population. Japan has been influenced by Asia, Europe, and America, but each new idea from abroad quickly takes on Japanese dimensions until it is transformed into something distinct. The following are the principles of Japanese art and culture. Japanese paintings tend to be more abstract and more naturalistic than Chinese paintings, depending on the artist and the subject. Japanese paintings allow for greater spontaneity and individuality. Although Japanese landscapes and panoramic scroll paintings feature shifting perspectives, many works focus on more intimate and limited subjects, permitting more explicit perspective and lighting effects. Individual portraits, scenes of daily life, and studies of plants and animals are painted. These images are handled with spontaneity and individualism. In contrast to the more decorative Chinese aesthetics, Japanese paintings pare down to essentials in an attempt to capture the basic form and characteristics of a specific subject. A style of painting called the ukiyo-e, or the woodblock prints, has a very distinctive, dramatic way of using lines and colors in landscapes, portraits, and other subjects. Architecture is also a blend of Chinese influence and Japanese innovations. The traditional methods of architecture are based on Chinese methods of timber construction. Chinese influence can be clearly seen in the great structures that have survived from the Nara period or the 8th century. Japanese architecture, like the other arts, is more preoccupied with form than with surface embellishments. The temples in Kamakura are examples of Japanese architecture from the 13th century. Japanese exteriors and interiors emphasize space and form, with the decorations and furnishing limited to the essentials. The asymmetric, multipurpose arrangement of Japanese houses and simple rectilinear forms created by framing and wall paneling were influenced to early modernist architects. Although all traditional Japanese structure use wood in different forms and apply the post and lintel system to support a gently curved roof, traditional Japanese houses are slightly elevated from the ground, have paper-thin walls that are often movable, and have fluid interior space divisions. The history of Japanese calligraphy has been heavily influenced by Chinese calligraphy. After the invention of the hiragana and katakana, or the two commonly used Japanese syllables, calligraphers developed intrinsic styles in Japan. As you can see here in the slide, there are four main kinds of minyo, or Japanese folk songs. The koto is one of the most popular Japanese traditional musical instrument. Many Japanese legends refer to the origins of the koto. One is that the koto was formed in the shape of a crouching dragon, a charmed and mythical creature of ancient Japan and China. Ikebana, or Japanese flower arrangement, which evolves in Japan over 7 centuries, has its origin in early Buddhist flower offerings. This art is distinguished from purely decorative use of flowers by the extreme care taken in choosing every element of each work, including the plant material, the container where each branch and each flowers are placed, and how the branches relate to the container and the surrounding space. Origami, the Japanese art of paper folding, comes from the Japanese word uri, which means folding, and kami, which means paper. The origamist transforms a sheet of paper into different shapes and forms using folding and sculpting techniques. The urizuru, or the paper crane, is perhaps the most popular origami shape. Traditionally, origami does not involve any cutting, marking, or piecing. The type of paper folding that allows cutting is called the kirigami. But aside from urizuru, you can make origami using different animals and shapes. Hanami, a Japanese word which literally means flower viewing, is the Japanese traditional custom of enjoying the beauty of flowers. The flower in this case may mean sakura, the Japanese cherry blossoms, and ume, or the Japanese apricot flowers. From late March to early May, sakura flowers bloom all over Japan. The blossom forecast is announced each year by the Weather Bureau, and it is watched carefully by those planning hanami as the blossoms only last a week or two. In modern-day Japan, hanami mostly consists of having an outdoor party beneath the sakura during daytime or nighttime. Hanami at night is called the yuzakura, or the night sakura. In many places, such as the Uno Park, temporary paper lanterns are hung for the yuzakura. Other traditional arts, such as the tea ceremony, lived on as part of the everyday lives of the Japanese people. The sado or chado, or Japanese tea ceremony, is a highly structured method of preparing green tea. But there is far more to sado than the ritual making and serving of tea. It is a profound total art that requires a wide range of knowledge and a delicate sensitivity. Sado also explores the purpose of life and encourages an appreciation of nature. The tatami is a traditional straw mat used on the floor in Japanese homes. The tatami evolves over a long period. It first began as a thin, easily folded straw mat on which people sat or slept. Later, more layers of tightly woven rice straw were added to the core to increase comfort. The core was then covered with woven rushes and the edges were hemmed with cloth. In traditional Japanese society, tatami came to be associated with privilege as exalted members of society sat upon them, whereas others sat on the wooden floor, as the shoes are a symbol of the life led outside the home. It is a custom to remove them in the entranceway. Many Japanese gardens are seen in temples, in or around castles, and in the residence of politicians and business people. In addition, some of them have been created in the sites of public facilities and Japanese hotels. Commonly, Japanese gardens have a pond in the center. Garden stones, trees, and plants are placed or planted on the ground or on artificial hills to represent seasonal changes in the scenery. One of the popular techniques used in gardens is the creation of artificial waterfalls. Lanterns, arbors, and tea houses are also often placed throughout Japanese gardens. The kimono is a Japanese traditional garment worn by men, women, and children. Instead of the cut of the garment, the significant element in the kimono is the pattern on the surface. Indications of social status, personal identity, and cultural sensitivity are expressed through color and decorations. The typical kimonos worn by Japanese men have restrained patterns of earthly colors and shades of dark blue. Decorated kimonos for men often have usual patterns such as polka dots, fine checks, and bird eyes designs. The kimono worn by women, particularly the young, is the most decorated. Here are some examples of kimonos for women. Uchikake are used for weddings. Forisode, used as a formal kimono for single Japanese women. Homogi, used for a formal kimono for married Japanese women. Yukata, worn during the summer. Tumisode, normally worn by married women to a wedding ceremony. And mufoku, or the black in color, worn to the funeral of a close relative. Cosplay or costume play is a performance art in which participants called cosplayers wear costumes and fashion accessories to represent a specific character. Cosplayers often interact to create a subculture. A broader use of the term cosplay applies to any costumed role-playing in venues apart from the stage. Any entity that lends itself to dramatic interpretation may be taken up as a subject, and it is not unusual to see genders switched. Favorite sources include manga and anime, comic books and cartoons, video games, and live-action films and television series. Once known only to Japan, manga or the Japanese comics and anime or the Japanese animation have become a global phenomenon. Popular manga comics include Astro Boy, Doraemon, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Naruto, and Death Note. Japanese anime or animated shows which have been entertaining Japanese children since the 1960s are now exported all over the world. Manga and anime cover a variety of genres and subject matter which are aimed at people from all genders and ages. Most anime and manga use simplistic styles and adorable characters representing the Japanese love for all things kawaii. Those who are extremely interested in anime or manga are called otaku. Japanese has absorbed many ideas from other countries over the course of its history, developed technologies, customs, and forms of cultural expression. It has developed its unique culture while integrating these imports. The Japanese lifestyle today is a rich blend of Asian influence, traditional culture, and Western influence, modern culture. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy learning about Japanese art and maybe even create some of your own projects inspired by the beautiful culture of Japan. Arigato for your attention and have a great day.